live at Husky Stadium, and if you are just joining us in the midst of a STFX drive, they lead this game 14-1 with 4:59 to go in this first half. Bill Maiden, Keith Hotchkiss, and Stu Francis here in Husky Stadium. We apologize for the delay. If you've been watching this game on tape delay, we have gone live, and that is right through the hands of Morrison.
Again, we
That's the
see,
second time.
as we watch it here, Bill, we see Bottrell coming. He's putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and the middle linebackers coming too. They're getting excellent penetration and pressure on the quarterback, and you can see what it does to the throw. It completely threw the quarterback off and almost ended in an interception for the Husky defense. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see it again. This brings up third down, and they're going to try a field goal.
Yeah, Mariani is going to attempt the field goal from the 20-yard line. And what brought this on was the Huskies trying a third and less than one gamble. The kick is up, and it is good. So that gives STFX a 17-1 lead. And what gave STFX that field goal, or that great field position, was the Huskies gambling on 3rd and 1 on their own 30-yard line. They got a poor spot, or what looked to be a poor spot, and X had the first down, and then they moved the ball and got themselves the field goal, which makes it a 17-1 game for STFX.
Well, they had the field goal anyway. The task of the St. Mary's defense was to either take them out of field goal range or stop the touchdown, which they did. So I'd give a victory to the St. Mary's defense on that series of downs, because they were in really bad position there for the time being, Bill.
Jamie Reinke started the game at quarterback and was largely ineffective. Threw an interception that resulted in a touchdown, and Ryan Jones is in at quarterback now, and that's complete to Hall. And Hall still on his feet, cutting it back into STFX territory, and he's into the 53-yard line.
That was a nice safe. That was a nice safe pass. Ryan Jones just threw that to the flat to Hall. The rest of the receivers cleared, and he made some nice moves, and it's a basic type out play into a wide formation, and he did an excellent job of turning it up, breaks one tackle, and gets the first down. Nice run by Glenn Hall.
You see him cut it back. Right there, he got some extra yards right there. And St. Mary's now first down on the STFX 52-yard line, 53-yard line. Ryan Jones entered the game as the starting quarterback in this second quarter. And that's over the middle again to Hall. And Hall down to the 25-yard line.
That's one of their big plays, Hall on the quick backside seam there. And they sure ran it to perfection there. They seem to have come to a life here, Bill.
Well, we went live, and when we went live, they started to move.
That's right.
Let's look at it. There's Hall, and you can see when he gets that ball, he can run. He's got speed, he's got power, and he's got good hands.
Huskies on the move.
First and 10, Huskies on the 25-yard line.
Draw
Here's
to Skeet
now, getting outside. Skeet still on his feet, inside the 10. He cuts it back.
All right,
Touchdown,
nice run.
Huskies.
Nice run by Skeet.
Boy, I'll tell you, that is some drive by the St. Mary's Huskies.
Yes, what was that, 4 plays? That was a nice run by Skeet. He showed his speed, his athletic ability. Once he got to the open field, he cut it out to the running lane and then cut it straight up the field for a touchdown.
Well, Stu, you know, Skeet lost his starting job to Perez, and Perez is hurt, and now Skeet's got another chance, and watch him get to the outside, and then he cuts it back inside very effectively here inside the 10. Looking to break a tackle, and he's in the end zone. And the Huskies are on the board with their first touchdown this afternoon. Bartolacci's going to kick the point after. Marchese's going to hold.
The X-defense looks like they went to sleep on that series. Their coach, Blake Nell, won't be too happy with that.
And the kick is good, and the Huskies are within 6. So that drive began at 4:59, with 4:59 to go in this first half, and we have 3:14 to go in this first half. So 1:45, and the Huskies are on the board with their first touchdown this afternoon. If you're just joining us, we had technical difficulties, and we apologize for them. But we are now live at Husky Stadium on a homecoming weekend here on the campus of St. Mary's University. The Huskies started off with a 1-0 lead on a missed field goal by Bartolacci. Then STFX came back with 2 touchdowns to make it 14-1. They got a field goal from Mariani.
That play to Hall was the one where he caught that quick look in. He took that for about 20 yards right into the heart of the X defense. That set up the draw by Skeet, who ran it in for about 25 or 30 yards. Bill made a real nice move on that.
It was good executed offensive football. And,
yes.
You know, that's making use of your weapons. And Hall and Skeet are 2 good football players.
This is a semi-onside kick, Bill.
And whistles on the play. I don't know if they weren't ready or what. Maybe Bartolacci kicked it off a little too quickly.
Speaking of kickoffs, Bill, I remember playing in the CFL in 1972 with Zen and Anderson doing the kickoff. And this is just a little side note there. It was quite a windy day, and it was blowing in his face. And on the opening kickoff, it was so windy and dusty out there, he missed the ball completely on the opening kickoff.
Where was this? In Toronto?
In Saskatchewan.
Oh, in Saskatchewan.
In Saskatchewan, yes. And the refs didn't know what to do. So they let him kick it again.
Oh, here's a good return by number 15 for STFX.
Yeah, I'd never seen that in football before, Bill.
And they are going to mark it on about the 52-yard line of STFX. Let's take a look at it. Here it is. Get a name for that spell, number 15. Elliott.
15 is Elliott, yes.
Yeah. Yep. And you can see he runs very well with the ball. And once again, gets it to the outside. That's where he got his extra yards before Bottrell brought him down, number 22. So STFX, 1st and 10 on their own 52-yard line.
Well, I expect X to try to get the ball to Cardi more. He is used to carrying the ball more than he has, and they're used to getting better action. Look at Merritt coming in there, safety blitz right away, and out to the flat to Musselman.
And Musselman is brought down by Morrison inside the 50-yard line. They're going to mark it on the 47.5.
St. Mary's is in a safety blitz mode here. Merritt has had several chances in there to make the tackle. He was right in on the quarterback. You'll see it right here coming from the bottom of your screen. He's got the quarterback dead to right there. Didn't come and make the tackle and get a square base. Quarterback easily evaded him and got the completion. Good job by the quarterback to evade the rush. You got to have that play. When you get the safety in there, you got to have that play made right now.
Well, I'll tell you, Cole made a nice play to get rid of that ball because he had Mark Irwin in his face with the hands up. Irwin at 6'7".
You'll notice when the blitz by the safety, Merritt, he's got to come to the quarterback's outside hip. He came to his inside hip, made an easy move for the quarterback. He broke contain and was able to throw the pass. So he's got to keep that leverage and that contained position always. He's got no help outside. If the quarterback has to turn inside, he's going to run into a defensive tackle or the backside end.
You know, you speak about Zed and Andrusian. He was an outstanding javelin thrower, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He went to UCLA and kicked at UCLA. I snapped for him for several years in the CFL.
1st and 10, STFX on the St. Mary's 47. Play action, Cole looking deep. And that is complete to Baldwin. Touchdown, STFX. And boy, I'll tell you, he made a heck of a catch on that play. Well, I think he took the ball right out of Merritt's hands.
Poor Merritt, he missed the tackle on the last play, and then he gets stripped of the ball on this play. It looked like it could have been intercepted. Merritt had good coverage. He does have good speed, but
let's look at it. Let's watch
excellent concentration.
Watch this. Watch Cole. And watch Merritt. He really had this ball.
He did. He's right in good position.
Right there.
Baldwin just takes it right away from him. Good play.
And then McJanet misses the tackle.
Yes.
And STFX gets 6 on the board.
Well, X responds just as quickly as St. Mary's did. And now we're getting into a bit of an offensive mode here. 23, both teams are moving the ball well. You might remember last year, Bill, in the season opener, there was a 44... Excuse me, it was 2 years ago, 44-42, these guys had a shootout in 1995, I guess I'm going back to.
Up at X.
Up at X, yes, the first game of the season.
This may be a shootout here this afternoon. It looks like it's headed in that direction. 2:11 to go in this first half.
Well, characteristically, the X defense, when they've had bad plays against them, have always been able to come back. And I know their coach, Blake Nill, he'll have called down and talked to their players. Blake's up top doing the spotting, where he works his defense.
Right back, coach is back.
I suspect the X defense, if they're true to form, will come back with a good stand here. I think the coach wouldn't be too happy with the way they went to sleep on that last series. That was just a simple execution by the St. Mary's defense. That looked like play should have gone the other way. Merritt should have been taking the ball down the field.
Well, Merritt had the ball, and it seemed, in the replay, it seemed just to bounce off his pads and right into Baldwin's head. And here's Bottrell now, and Bottrell up over the 40-yard line on the kickoff return.
24-8 is the score, Bill, with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Well, at the half, we'll have a little bit of a summary of this first half with Stu and myself, and bring you up to date, because we were in the process of trying to get on air here for the better part of this first half. You see the replay here of Bottrell.
We'll see if St. Mary's comes back to the same sort of formations they had that they were successful with in the last series.
Here's Ryan Jones, who is the quarterback.
They have Adam Gillen at fullback and Skeet at the tailback. St. Mary's in pass mode here, and they do throw the out to Hall again.
And Hall is going to be very close to a first down. Depending, once again, I think he's going to be short. It looks like by about a yard or 2 or 3. He went out of bounds over there on the 50-yard line on the far side of the field.
Yep, nice safe throw to the flat. I think they have to work the clock here, Bill. They're under 2 minutes. If they can get a score here and come out 24-15 or 24-16 at the half, they'll be in good shape in the second half. They don't want to do anything stupid to get themselves into more trouble here.
That was Elliott who knocked Hall out of bounds.
Second and about 2.
On the 50-yard line of St. Mary's. Play action. All incomplete, intended again for Hall. I think maybe they went to the well once too often there, because it looked like they had pretty good coverage on Hall. That pass was poorly thrown anyway.
Yes, you do. You have to throw that to in front of him, so he has a chance to catch the ball right now. The ball's gone. Should be right to his hip. And even that's a tough coverage on the guy. The guy has to almost have perfect coverage to stop that.
Huskies are going to go for it. 3rd and 2 on the 50.
3rd and 2.
1:55 to go in this first half. Bill Maiden, Stu Francis, and Keith Hotchkiss.
They're throwing the ball.
Oh, that's over.
And incomplete.
Intended for Trudell. Looked like it was going to be over his head, but I think Trudell should have had that ball.
As a defensive coach, you know, I'm always happy to see them throw that wide side out. Bill, that's a 40-yard pass to get 3 yards here.
Watch it.
From the hash to the sideline here. Okay.
And you see, even if Trudell makes that catch, he's got the defensive back right on his backside, and he's got to turn it up.
That's right.
And that's a difficult play for Trudell to make to get those 3 yards.
I can remember playing. I've seen that ball picked off several times. In fact, when Acadie was down here playing St. Mary's, the game they won earlier this season, we saw Scatcherd throw a wide side out that was picked off and taken back for a touchdown.
McJanet.
I don't like that play.
I see why. 1st and 10. St. of X on their own 50-yard line. Now the Huskies have to come up big defensively and keep X off the boards. That's too much time. So that's going to bring it back to midfield.
Well, X feeling comfortable now. I expect them to run the ball a little bit here, Bill. Try to get Carty some yardage. As we said, he's 365 off Paul Brule's mark of 1966, where Brule rushed for 1,106 yards. Of course, Paul Brule is the all-time AUA rushing leader, and lifetime, Paul Brule certainly holds the record.
Wasn't he he had a big role in the Atlantic Bowl a few years ago? Wasn't he a Grand Marshal of the Atlantic?
Yes, he was honorary chairman for the...
Here's Cole looking deep. And that is...
X showing no mercy.
Complete.
No mercy, going deep.
And that's complete to Lorette. Andre Lorette, number 5, and that was a nice catch by Lorette. He had good coverage on him, but he still managed to take that ball over his shoulder. We're going to look at the replay on that. Let's look at it. Nice pass by Cole, too.
I've been very impressed with Cole's arm throwing the deep ball today. He's thrown some lovely deep balls.
Boy, this is a nice one.
He gets a lot of air under this ball. and lets the receiver run into it. Good coverage, but the ball is right on the money. Right on the money. Excellent play.
And that was Josh Labucki who had coverage on Lorette. Here's Musselman now looking to get outside. And McJanet is there to drive him back. Irwin is there and Bottrell. Musselman, 6'1", 230-pound fullback who has been plagued by ankle injuries this year. And they wanted to get him back into the rotation because the playoffs are coming up and they want him healthy. Let's look at it. You'll watch Musselman, number 32. He got by Reed, but McJanet with a nice tackle driving him back.
Musselman came back with a vengeance this year after he and his team went to the Vanier Cup last year. Of course, it was a critical fumble by Musselman that didn't help the X-Men in their cause last year. But he's been a leader on that team, and certainly they'll be ready to get him back into the lineup with his leadership.
Second down and 10, and the flag on the play. Maybe too much time again. Time violation. That's going to bring it back 5, but at the worst, X should come out of this with 3 more points.
I'm really surprised that X went to the air there. They're showing no mercy against this Husky team. You would think that would be a good time to get your running game going. They're up 24-8, putting the ball in the air. You know, they can throw an interception and things could be turned around. But they're showing a very aggressive mode here, which we haven't seen from this X team in the past. And they have had a problem scoring points historically in the past. And I guess when the things get rolling, they want to put some points on the board.
Well, they've got some weapons. They've got De Laval, number 10, the wide receiver. They've got Baldwin, who we've already seen, has scored a touchdown. You saw Lorette, number 5, with a nice catch. And they've got Cardi in the backfield. They've got Carberry, the 6'3", 260-pound fullback from Halifax West in his freshman year that you're going to see. We saw him earlier in this game before we went live on air, and you'll probably see him in the second half. He's a specimen. And so they got lots of weapons, this St. FX team, and they lost Freeland and Fairway last year in the CFL draft.
Yeah, they had big holes to fill there, but talking to their coaches, they feel that the rest of the players have come up and filled the gap, and that they have a good defensive core.
So it's second down. Actually, they're going to go for the field goal. Third down, sorry. Third down from the 50. Marietti's field goal is, what's the signal? It's good.
It's good. Well, again, St. Mary's went on third down, and this drive was initiated by a lack of their ability to make it on third down, Bill. So they've only got, X has only got 6 points off those third down attempts that didn't make it. So things could be worse.
Well, the Huskies trail by 19 with 1:11 to go in this first half.
Bill, just before I go, I know we've talked a lot about the great running backs in this league, like McPherson and Grant Keeney, and but Paul Brule had an outstanding career in the early 60s, and his best game rushing was 482 yards for X in one game in 1967. I don't have that information.
Here's Jones to pass. Over the middle, and that was almost intercepted.
But 482 yards is a good season for some backs, let alone one game.
Who did he get that against? Do you have that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They don't have that stats. They just, I pulled up some of the stuff from the AOA statistician the other day, back to the 1960s.
Watch Jones here, and he looked like he was a little bit undecided before he decided to throw that ball, and when he finally did, he overthrew the receiver, and it almost was intercepted. So it's going to be second down at 10.
I would
Jones
imagine.
is in, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Jones in the shotgun, and the ball on the 35-yard line. 1:06 to go.
X's secondary is loosening there in what we call 4 deep mode.
That's intended for Hall, and that was out of his reach.
Usually at this point in the game, you want to protect your deep coverage, Bill, so that nothing can get deep on you. And looked like X was in like what we call a 4 deep zone there with linebacker coverage underneath and a 4-man rush. It's a safe defense, and it protects against any intermediate or long balls being caught on you.
You know what's unfortunate about guys like Brule is that we never got to see them play. I mean, this was before video.
Before video, you know.
And you know, these are great stats, and they were great players in their day. But
different era back then
It's
too,
a
Bill.
different era, absolutely.
You know, St.
Here's
FX.
Bartolacci with his kick, and he gets another good one off. And this is Baldwin on the 40, and he is slippery. But he does not get away. Number 15, Rathwell, the linebacker. Chris Rathwell with the tackle on Baldwin. Let's look at it. Watch Baldwin here, number 3. He's got a touchdown here this afternoon. And watch Merritt, he was there.
Again, another missed tackle by Merritt. He looked like he had him dead to right there.
But Rathwell made the tackle, and it's going to be first down on the 42-yard line.
Well, if you're
with
X,
50 seconds to go in this first half.
if you're X now is a good time to practice your hurry-up offense because you don't get a lot of practice, real-life practice against this. They should have everyone up on the ball. They should be looking at using the clock and trying to march the ball down the field. You never know when this might come in handy in a big game to win you a championship.
Play action Cole looking
But
deep.
they're going
and
deep,
going
and he's throwing it right to the defender. And
That's
it looks like
Labucki, and there's a flag on the play.
yes, there
Labucki
is. It looks
up
like
to the 50, and he's brought down on his own 50, but we'll have to wait for the call.
I think we're going to see interference by St. Mary's here. The receiver was nowhere to be seen.
Well, that's right. It looked like Labucki was the intended receiver. So the question is, did he interfere with the intended receiver? You see Musselman
Someone
coming off
obviously
the
must
field.
have.
Now he's coming back. So maybe that flag is against St. Mary's.
That's what you'd think would be the first, first sign of things. The offense is not leaving the field.
And the St. Mary's defense is not leaving the field, so it looks like it's going to be pass interference.
I think there was a piling on penalty there too. So the net result of this will be probably the ball is right where it stays. Going to stay right where it was, Bill.
So pass interference, St. Mary's. Objectionable conduct, St. Mary's. And unnecessary roughness by St. FX.
So there'll be a net game of 15 yards for the interference in the AAA and CIU.
Let's see where we can see where the interference is here.
Must have been right here on number 12.
McJanet. Boy, I'll tell you, that ball was way overthrown. I don't know who Cole was looking for or where the receiver is supposed to go.
I think he was supposed to go straight up the seam there, and
he didn't make it.
he didn't make it.
That ball was about 20 yards overthrown.
Well, it was an exciting interception return anyway. There's the piling on right there.
That was
There's
Carty
no
with
need
the
for that.
piling on.
There's no need for that. That was Carty.
Carty, yeah.
The running back.
Piling on, number 22. Well, they're probably trying to figure out where they're going to put this ball with 36 seconds to go in this first half.
Well, unsportsmanlike is 15. Piling on is 15. And interference is 15. So I don't know why it's going back. St. Mary's did have the unsportsmanlike against them, didn't they, Bill?
That's right. The objectionable conduct.
And so that would have, those two would have been offsetting, I would think. What about the 15 yards for the original interference call?
Well, it should be going up 15.
It should be up 15, I would think, right?
Anyways, they're going to mark it on the 35-yard line. It should be a plus 15 for X.
Well, I would think so.
Looks like it's a minus 15 for them. They're first and 10 on their own. First and 15 on their own 35.
X in.
Here's Musselman, and he can't get loose. Morrison is there, number 40, with the tackle, as well as number 43 for the Huskies, Mark Ferris, the other linebacker.
Yeah, Musselman didn't have a chance here. The St. Mary's defense got off the ball, did a real good job. There wasn't any room on this trap. They played it very, very well.
You know, if I'm looking at Morrison, I've got to think that he's going to be an AUAA All-Star and linebacker this year.
Well, he certainly is active, and he's very aggressive.
So it is going, what do they do? Now they mark it what, first down? First and 10. Okay, they gave first and 10. So
you got us confused, eh, Bill?
yeah, we're up now to the 41-yard line.
Anyway, it is
Musselman
first
have lost yardage there. They gave 5 or 6. Here's Cole now to pass. Again, throwing it up. And Merritt is there. got his hands on it, but couldn't hang on to it. The pass intended for number 9.
I can't believe X is throwing the ball like this at this point in the game. They should be going for a more ground control and a possession type offense.
Here, you take a look at it.
This is the same one that, of course, Merritt got beat on earlier. Again, he was in good position to intercept that ball and just didn't quite finish off the play there.
Well, that was not a well-thrown ball by Cole. That ball looked like it was wobbly coming out of his hands.
If Merritt could have had that, he would have had great room to move up and take that one back.
2nd down and 10. 24 seconds to go in this first half. X leads at 27-8.
Musselman Carty in the X backfield.
Play action, looking for Carty. It's over his head, and Bottrell comes up to beat him.
Well, this has been a pretty good series by the St. Mary's defense right here to hold X. And they're going to force X to punt. Now, if they can make something happen on this punt, get the ball downfield, I think they got to be thinking get into field goal range, kick a field goal, and they should come out of the half if they can get a field goal, thinking that they've accomplished something, get them set for the next half.
At the half, I was going to say that we will have a summary of this first half to bring everybody up to date, since we were a little late getting on the air. And Mariani is going to be punting from his 30-yard line. And that is Kamika on the 40. Kamika up to about the 47. So the Huskies will be 1st and 10 on their 47 with 12 seconds to go. Let's look at Kamika here as he runs up to this ball on the 40-yard line.
Good coverage there by the ex-defenders to limit the gain.
Jamie Renke started this game at quarterback and played the first quarter, and Ryan Jones has come in here in the second quarter and led the Huskies to a touchdown just as we came on air.
With 12 seconds to go, Bill, I think you just throw the ball up and hopefully something good will happen for it. They're throwing
screen to Skeet. Skeet is in St. FX territory, looking to get inside. Skeet to the 40. That's going to run out of time, so the Huskies will not have a chance to try the field goal.
Unfortunately, if he had taken it straight to the sidelines, they may have been able to try a long field goal. So probably would have been out of their range, though.
The score at the half is St. FX 27, St. Mary's 8, as we take a look at this screen pass to Skeet. And Skeet has played a pretty good first half when he's had a chance to get his hands on this ball.
Yeah, Bill, he's looked pretty impressive.
He looked very impressive. Here. I was just going to say, he looked very impressive on that touchdown drive that the Huskies had. You see 3 X-Men bringing him down, and that really ran out the clock for St. Mary's in this first half. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back for the halftime show. Our score is St. Mary's 8, St. FX 27. Stay with us, we'll be back. Start of the second half. St. FX leads this game 27-8 on a homecoming weekend here at St. Mary's University. And Keith, the stats are pretty even in this game. The score is a 19-point differential, but this is a pretty even football game, statistically speaking.
Kind of funny, yeah, we're checking over the statistics at the half, Bill, and St. FX had 7 first downs, St. Mary's had 5. Yards rushing, St. FX only 38 yards, and St. Mary's 75 yards. passing, an edge to St. FX with 100 yards passing, only 68 for St. Mary's. But when you put it all together, the total offense number, St. FX 138 yards total offense, and St. Mary's 135 yards total offense. Only 3 yards difference there. One of the key areas, though, Bill, when you look at the stats, is penalties. St. FX 7 penalties for 35 yards. St. Mary's 8 penalties for 82 yards. And certainly there were some key times in that first half where St. Mary's took penalties that allowed St. FX to continue with their possession. And ultimately they went in and scored on a couple of those occasions. Another interesting stat, Ray Skeet rushing 6 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown for St. Mary's. And Cardy, who had such an outstanding game last week for St. FX, 6 carries for just 28 yards. So the St. Mary's defense have certainly done a good job holding Cardy.
All right, we're just going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a second for the start of the second half. We are just about ready for the start of this second half of this football game, and we got a score from Acadia. It is 21-14 for Acadia over Mount Allison at the half. So Keith, Acadia, which has paid 2 previous visits here to Husky Stadium, and we remarked on the offensive weapons that they've got. They put 21 points up on the board, and they're trying desperately hard to keep their playoff hopes alive, and St. Mary's must win here this afternoon to have any chance at all of advancing. And so we've got a pretty interesting afternoon of football here in the AUAA.
Well, Bill, first we should acknowledge Stu Francis, because when he arrived earlier this afternoon, one of his first comments was he thought Acadia was going to beat Mount A this afternoon. So certainly at halftime, Stu's prediction looks like it may come to fruition. Certainly Acadia has been in all their ball games. The one they lost to St. Mary's earlier in the year is really miscues and mistakes that they made, but certainly they've got a lot of offensive weapons, as you say, and they have put numbers on the board in all of their games, including last week against Mount Allison up at Mount A. So yeah, it is an interesting afternoon, and Acadia trying to keep their hopes alive. And let's see the second half now as the teams line up for the kickoff, if St. Mary's can put something together here in the second half.
Mariani is going to kick it off, and Kamika and Skeet are back inside their 20.
Kicking off for the X-Men Marini.
So St. FX leads at 27-8 as we get ready for the start of this second half. Bill Maiden and Keith Hotchkiss. And it is a short kick again, Gillen on the 35. And he's brought down right away. And I thought, Keith, there was a face mask there. It looked like Gillen's face mask was grabbed, and he's pointing to his face mask as if it was grabbed.
Well, maybe we could pick that up on the replay, Bill. But St. FX have been very effective on their kickoff game, doing that short kickoff to about the 35-yard line, and their men are moving, and St. Mary's have really been held to little or no gains on their kickoff returns.
So Ryan Jones comes back out for St. Mary's. Came in the second quarter. Let's take a look at that. Let's see if Gillen's face mask here is grabbed right here, right there.
Yep.
Look, right there, he got his head turned. That should have been a penalty. 1st and 10, St. Mary's on the 35-yard line. X showing blitz. Jones to pass. And Kamika is leveled. That pass was over his head. He had to extend himself, and Finley brought him down. Let's take a look at it. Watch how high Kamika has to reach for this ball, and watch Finley come in here right around the ribs. Boom.
Well, Bill, I'll tell you, Kamika was cutting across and was open really for about 15 yards. I think Jones was a little slow picking him up and finding him, because he was certainly wide open and was led a little bit, and that kind of made him vulnerable for the St. FX defender to jar that ball loose when he made contact. 2nd down and 10. Jones again to pass. And he is brought down for a loss. Well, Bill, it's unfortunate just watching the pattern, the St. Mary's receivers going downfield. Glenn Hall did a down and in at about 15 yards and was really wide open in the middle. And unfortunately, Jones just couldn't pick him up, and he gets nailed behind the line, and St. Mary's are going to have to give the ball up.
Bartolacci is going to punt it. Let's take a look at it. You see right there when he stepped up into the pocket, the protection just broke down, and X was able to nail him for a 7-yard loss. So Bartolacci's going to kick it from his 13-yard line. And this is Lorette. And Lorette is in St. Mary's territory at about the 53. So X is going to scrimmage 1st and 10 on the St. Mary's 53. Lorette gets up, limping a bit.
It was about a 15-yard return by Lorette, and Merritt on the tackle, keeping him from making an even larger return.
Let's take a look at it. Let's watch Lorette pick it up on the bounce. You see Merritt there closing. Breaks the tackle, number 43.
Mark Ferris.
Breaks another one, and finally McJanet brought him down. So 1st and 10, St. FX. And they mark it on the St. Mary's 54. Here's the pitch to Carty. Carty looking to get outside, no room. And Morrison there with the tackle, number 40, Kyle Morrison. And St. Mary's did a good job, Keith, of stringing that out.
Well, St. Mary's shot a linebacker in, and Carty was able to get outside him, but Morrison did a good job on the outside. There you can see the linebacker coming in at the top of the screen, kind of shooting through, and that was number 10. But Carty gets outside, but there you see Morrison fighting off a block and able to bring him down for a loss. And St. Mary's have done a good job today, Bill, holding Carty from those big gains.
Well, what do you have? 6 carries for 22 yards, and that's 28 yards in that first half.
28 yards.
He had 250 yards for the game last week at Antigonish. And there's an injured St. FX player down on the turf. Looks like a lineman is down.
Really what's hurt St. Mary's today, Bill, is the big plays and some inopportune penalties that have kept drives alive. And other than that, it's a pretty close matchup in terms of the yardage these two teams are putting on the stat sheet.
Well, that player is still down, and it's important for the Huskies to really hold St. FX here. They've got to get that ball back and get some points on the board. We're just underway here in this second half, 13:08 to go in this third quarter. Hey, they're playing our song. Is that the Macarena? Yeah. Over here. So if you're just joining us at the half at Acadia, it's 21-14 for Acadia over Mount Allison.
Well, Bill, we'll just mention this is homecoming weekend at St. Mary's, and classes of 87 and 72 being honored.
47. Well, yeah, 47.
Oh, 47
yeah.
is the 50th. So they're doing the 50th, the 25th, and the 10th. And good turnout last night in the courtside lounge. And of course, we mentioned earlier on Frank Baldwin being inducted into the St. Mary's Hall of Fame just before the start of the game. A nice ceremony. Dick McLean doing a good job highlighting Frank's career. Alumni have a tent set up where they for the ball game in the Tower parking lot. So nice to see some of the alumni on campus this weekend. We'll also put a plug in the U97 house. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, Cape Cod House out in Clayton Park West. Open 11 in the morning till 7 in the evening, both today and tomorrow. It's a lovely home, an opportunity for $100 to win a $250,000 home out in Clayton Park West, and the proceeds for this endeavor are going to St. Mary's Atlantic Center for Support for Students with Disabilities.
Second down at 50. Cole in the shotgun. Looking deep as he has all afternoon. That is deflected by McJanet, intended for Costello. And, you know, I'm surprised how often Cole has gone deep this afternoon. It seems like just about every one of his passes, he has been trying to really spread the defense here. Let's take a look at it. And this is for Costello, and McJanet got a hand on it. And that's going to force X to punt. You see Bottrell coming in there with the hit on Costello.
Well, nice job on coverage and a good job by McJamet, but you know, Bill, it shouldn't be a complete surprise. St. Mary's have been vulnerable to that deep pass all season long.
Here's Mariatti with his punt. And that's Bottrell on the 21. And he is met very quickly shy of the 30-yard line. So the Huskies will get it back 1st and 10 We'll have to wait for the marking. It looks like they're going to mark it on about the 27-yard line. Let's look at Botro here, number 22, who has had a lot of activity this afternoon. He's seen some offensive action. He's playing rover on defense and returning punts and kickoffs here this afternoon. They mark it on the 29, just shy of the 29. As you look across the way at the tower, where a lot of people are enjoying this game, both outside and inside. Here's Jones now to pass, and that's for Kamika, and it's complete, and he breaks a tackle and turns it in. Kamika over the 45 to about the 47-yard line. That's a gain of about 25 yards. And a good play by Kamika and a good pass by Jones.
Well, a little wobbly pass there by Jones, but Kamika kept his concentration because he knew that there was a St. FX defender coming in close pursuit. He makes the catch, makes a little sidestep and breaks the tackle, cuts it inside and makes a nice gain and picks up a first down for St. Mary's.
Kamika was wide open on that play. See him get by Elliott. Then he turns it up. They're on their 47. Play action over the middle, and that is complete to Findon.
Well, Bill, if you recall, that's the play they tried to use in the first quarter. First time it was knocked down, second time it was intercepted for a touchdown. That time they were able to connect, and Findon made the reception and picks up the first down.
So the Huskies moving the ball. Here's the Huskies football contest. You can win a game football side by the team. There's the address. Huskies 1st and 10 on the 53. Here's Gillen, and he gets outside. Gillen could go. Gillen still on his feet inside the 20-yard line. Good run by Adam Gillen.
Well, it's nice to see the running game get on track for the St. Mary's Huskies, and Gillen took that ball and went out to the outside, and some great blocking in front of him, and he just scampers down the sideline for a big gain. And St. Mary's now on the 17-yard line. This is where they've got to be able to take the football across the goal line, Bill.
And this is something that they've had a lot of problems doing in football games this season. When they've had the opportunity to score, they've more often than not shot themselves in the foot. But they need a touchdown here. 11-11 to go in this third quarter, trailing by 19, 27-8. X showing blitz. Jones looking to get rid of it. And Jones was extremely lucky on that play that he didn't throw an interception. It was intended for Kamika, but really Jones was on his backside as he was getting rid of that ball.
Yeah, Bill, certainly the key there is Jones needs time to set up and get that pass away, and that time the St. FX defensive line just bulled their way right through the St. Mary's offensive line, and offensive line's going to have to suck it up and give some better protection to their quarterback if they want to keep this pass game going.
You're not having a problem with your pitcher if you're watching this game and seeing the same kind of pitcher that we're seeing. This is a technical difficulty that we're having. We've been fighting these difficulties all afternoon. So don't adjust your set. We're working on it as the game goes on. 2nd down and 10. Yeah, now we got a good pitcher. Hang on to it. Jones to pass. Looking to get outside, but he's not going to do it. Brought down by Ian Richmond, number 60. That's going to be a loss. And that's going to bring out Bartolacci for a field goal attempt for the Huskies. So if they can get 3 out of here, they can narrow it to 16 points with a lot of time left in this third quarter. 10-17 to go.
Well, Bill, certainly lots of time left. It is important, though, I think, that St. Mary's pick up these 3 points, having marched down the field. But it's been a problem all year long once they get inside the opposition's 20-yard line, being able to take that ball across the goal line. And once again, they've been held, and we'll have to hopefully be content with a 3-point field goal.
This is from the 32, Marchese holding. Kick is up, wide. Cardi tried to run it out. Bottrell tackles him, so the Huskies only end up with 1 point. This is what we were referring to about Bartolacci earlier in the broadcast. He has had trouble with consistency. He's got a strong foot, but The Huskies missed the field goal, and it makes it a 27-9 football game with 9:55 to go in this third quarter.
Bill, maybe we just mentioned David Bottrell, the St. Mary's Husky, down to make the tackle in the end zone. And you know, all season long, you know, he's been one of the most consistent players for the St. Mary's team. He's played offense, he's played defense, runs back punts, makes tackles on punts and field goals, and really has done an outstanding job for St. Mary's this year.
Well, he's been one of the few consistent bright lights on this Huskies football team this year. First and 10, St. FX on their own 35. Too much.
Time called by St. FX.
Oh, St. FX calls a timeout. Well, you know, we talked about what the class of 47 is here, the class of 72 is here. Did you see anybody that you knew here this weekend from 72 that we haven't seen for a while? I don't know anybody from 47.
Actually, they had a luncheon for the class of 47 yesterday, hosted by the president and Mrs. Osmond, and I'm not quite certain how many people were there, but I know there are a few graduates from the class of 47 around.
What about 72? Did you see anybody there?
Unfortunately, I wasn't at the event last night, Bill, so I saw Bob Rutolo around, but I think Bob graduated a little bit before 1972. But Bob is in town and has a daughter currently studying at the university, and a lot of activity going on campus this weekend.
Well, a big crowd here this afternoon, too, over at the tower. Looking over there, we can see that it's pretty full outside and in the VIP lounge. And good crowd here on this side of the field. So now we're ready to go. First and 10 on the 35-yard line. Cole again to pass. And he was brought down by Noel as he got rid of that ball. So that's going to be second down and 10. Noel coming in on the backside with the rush. Let's look at it here, Keith, number 32.
Well, he gets in there and forces Cole to get rid of that ball and doesn't get all of his weight behind it, and was fortunate it wasn't picked off because there were 2 or 3 St. Mary's defenders in the immediate vicinity and no St. FX receivers.
Second down and 10. Bill Maiden, Keith Hotchkiss, and Stu Francis here at Husky Stadium. Glad you're with us. Hope you're enjoying the game. Perfect day for football here. No wind to speak of. Temperature about 10 degrees. It's a great fall afternoon. Huskies showing blitz. And this is Carty. And Carty, you can see that talent. The way he can get through that hole so quickly. And he is very close to a first down. They're going to move the sticks. Huskies did a good job in that first half, keeping him in check, only getting 28 yards, but look at Carty right here.
Well, good job. Number 61 gets pushed to the outside by the Jean-Michel Sylvain, and just gives enough room for Carty to break through that hole, and then a little dipsy-doodle dancing coming through, and he picks up 10 yards.
First and 10, and they mark it on the St. FX 45-yard line. Here's Carty. And Carty picks up about 3. Traveris is there, number 6, the linebacker, and McJanet, number 12. Carty had a big week, or a big afternoon last Saturday in Antigonish, picking up 250 yards of rushing. But he has had tougher going here this afternoon as we look at the replay. And let's watch Traveris, number 6, come right up here.
Well, St. Mary's defense did a good job. St. FX are running a trap, and the secondary were able to come up and hold Carty to about a 3-yard gain on that play.
Second down and 7. Ball on the 47 of St. FX. McJanet showing blitz, backs off number 12. Cole in the shotgun. Cole to Carty. And Carty's got some room, and let's look at that speed. And pushed out of bounds by Bottrell. That's going to move the sticks again. Here you see Carty, freshman from Kingston, Ontario, 6 feet, 185 pounds. And the coaching staff was telling me before the game he's a 4.4 40. And he's got a lot of quickness, a lot of speed. Little screen here.
Well, Carty had Cole, but he also had another receiver there. Number 88 was wide open about 10 yards in front of him, so he had a choice, and he went with Carty, and then Carty's speed just breaks downfield for about another 20 yards. So St. FX on the move once again, halfway through the third quarter.
Ball on the 37-yard line of St. Mary's, 1st and 10. Cole in the shotgun. They send everybody out. Now Cole looking to get outside, looking to get rid of that ball, and that is intended for number 9, Costello, and it's incomplete. So that will be 2nd down and 10 with 7:06 to go in this third quarter. Next week, Mount Allison is in town, and we should see LaPointe as he makes his return from arthroscopic knee surgery. They want to get him some reps before the playoffs. And as long as you got LaPointe in your lineup, a healthy LaPointe, you've got a chance to go all the way to the Vanier Cup. Now Cole again in the shotgun, look at the pass, and that's for Carty, and just a little too hard for him, went right through his hands. He should have had that ball, and he knew it, and he's not happy. So Mariani is going to come out and punt for St. FX. But I'll tell you, if they had completed that pass to Carty, Keith, he had room.
Well, Bill, it's basically the same play they ran a couple of plays ago where he sneaks out of that backfield. And again, he was wide open. Looks like St. Mary's have changed their defense. They were going with 4 down linemen in the first half. Looks like they're using 3 down linemen, have an extra linebacker in there. And certainly on that play, somebody's not picking up Carty. And I think it's a linebacker that's either going in on the quarterback, but they're certainly not looking to Carty. And I would think they'd want to keep an eye on him and have somebody almost going wherever he goes on the field.
Well, similar to LaPointe.
He's a game breaker, no question about it.
And you saw Cole over there on the sideline, and he was just, talking to him and just, telling him what he wanted him to do and encouraging him. And you're right. I mean, you want to mark Carty with a linebacker or a defensive back because it's very easy for him to slip out and get that ball, and if he gets a step or two on you, he's going to get some serious yardage. I mean, he is a very fast kid, and he's a talented back. 27-9 is our score with 6:42 to go in this third quarter. You see 27-8, but the Huskies got a single point, and Mariani is going to kick it from his 50-yard line. And Skeet and Bottrell are back about their goal line. Kamika, number 86, and Mariani angles it to the sideline inside the 50-yard line. So Ryan Jones comes back out for St. Mary's as they try to get some offense going. This has been a tough year for the Huskies, no question. I mean, they've had a lot of injuries. Their defensive line has been decimated. Brian Carter's been out. Menenhozik broke his thumb. He's out for the year. Mikalakis has a knee injury. He's gone for the year. And they've just had all kinds of problems with injuries here. And, of course, they've had to put young players in, and young players are going to make some mistakes. And you just have to live and die with these young guys and hope the experience that they get is going to stand them in good stead down the road. Here's Jones looking to get outside. He gets away. Now he's going to run and picks up about 2 or 3 yards.
Well, I think Jones had decided once he got on the outside that he was going to keep the ball. And St. FX defense have done a good job, Bill. When the St. Mary's quarterbacks have stepped into the pocket, they've been hit. When they try to go outside, they've been hit. That time Jones was able to elude the St. FX defensive end, number 52. There you can see him scooting by there, gets a hand on him. And if Jones could have beat the next defender, he had some running room.
You see how aggressively St. FX gets off that ball defensively.
Well,
they just come charging off that ball.
They're doing a good job moving laterally, and St. Mary's just can't get to the outside.
Here's Jones now looking to get outside. And intending that pass for Kamika, and that was thrown in front of him, so that's going to make a 3rd down for the Huskies, and it's going to bring out Bartolacci again with 5:21 to go in this third quarter. Let's look at it.
Well, once again, Jones is looking for Kamika. He's trying to outrun the defender so he can at least try to set up and get that pass away. He kind of throws on the run and the pass is in the ground, but you know, certainly you can't fault Jones, Bill, when every time he's going back, he's got 2 or 3 blue shirts in his face, and he's just not getting time to set up and find his receivers, and as a result, St. Mary's can't get that pass game on track here in the third quarter.
Bartolacci's back at his 5-yard line. And that's a nice punt. That's Lorette on the 55. Lorette bounces it outside. Lorette still on his feet, gets out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. And we're going to flag a late hit on Lorette going out of bounds. And that's going to hurt because that's going to bring the ball that much closer to the goal line. Is that going to be a 10 or 15-yard penalty, that late hit? Let's take a look at Lorette as he picks it up at the 55. Keith, he makes a good move here to get to the outside.
Yeah, he gets outside. St. Mary's defender kind of runs by him.
There's Hall. He can't get him.
Hall can't get him, and he gets cut down. And unfortunately, number 15, I think, no, number 33, Gillen, gives him a little shove out of bounds. And that's just one of those penalties, I think, that players take in frustration and kind of reflects, I guess, a little lack of control of emotion. And unfortunately, that's the kind of infraction that has plagued St. Mary's all season long, and moves the ball up another 10 yards closer to the goal line.
1st and 10 on the 28-yard line of St. Mary's. Cole has gone the distance for St. FX here this afternoon. Here's Carty now. Carty, and he is brought down at a gain of about 5 by number 43, Mark Ferris, the linebacker.
Well, Bill, Mark Ferris, a first-year student from Burlington, as we watch the replay here, and St. FX again pulling their guard and their tackle, number 66, and Carty just kind of runs right into the St. Mary's defenders. But again, it's another illustration of our point, I guess, with those first-year players going in for the St. Mary's veterans who are out with injury.
2nd down and 6. Cole on the roll. And that is incomplete. Intended for Lorette. So Mariani will probably come out to try the field goal for St. FX. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, pretty good coverage here by the St. Mary's defender. And the St. FX receiver just really didn't have a chance to get his hands on that ball inbounds.
Mariani is going to set it up on the 30-yard line. And Cole is going to hold. And Bottrell is back in the end zone. And a flag. Kick is wide. Bottrell picks it up, see if he can get out. And he concedes the single point. But we're going to wait for the flag and see what the call is. The flag was thrown up around the 22-yard line.
Well, it looks like it could be against St. FX for procedure. I hear Coach Larry Utek hollering out to decline the penalty, so I think he just like to give up that single point, not give X an opportunity to kick that field goal over, gain 5 yards back, and maybe make it. And St. Mary's will get the ball at the
well, it was a procedure
looks like the
penalty.
35-yard line, 1st and 10.
It was a procedure penalty, and St. Mary's did decline, so they're going to get 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line. Well, we just want to say hi, Keith, to all those members of the class of 72 and 47. You probably know a few of those guys from 72. And they may be watching this game here this afternoon. And if they're from out of town, we want to welcome them back to the university. Hope they're having a good weekend. This is not the kind of football game you wanted to see if you were a St. Mary's fan. But you remember in homecoming last year, it was 46-10 for X, and they were just a juggernaut on the roll last year as they went to the Atlantic Bowl, won that against Ottawa. That is complete. That's good for about 5 yards. Dugan with the catch, and they came in here, you remember last year, Keith, and they just completely dominated St. Mary's on a homecoming afternoon, and went on and beat Ottawa in the Atlantic Bowl here on a very cold and windy day, and then on to the Vanier Cup where they lost to Saskatchewan. They brought down by Labuki, number 16. Bottrell was there. I saw them working on that play in the pregame warm-up.
Well, what makes Carty so good, when he runs this play, St. Mary's defense actually play it very well. You can see the linebacker's going to step up on the outside, cut him back inside. 43 is there, and he almost slips through and breaks that tackle and turns it into a big gain. So he's just so quick when he turns upfield that even when your defense is there and doing a good job, he can still turn it into a big gain. But fortunately, Ferris was able to hold on that time.
This will be the last play of the third quarter. 2nd down and 5. Cole to pass. Looking deep. Merritt is there. We've got a flag on the play, and I think they're going to call him for pass interference.
Looks like he's pointing at number 9 for St. FX. I thought Merritt actually did an excellent job on coverage, and I think the St. FX receiver kind of pushed off on him, and I think that'll be a call.
That was
St.
Costello. Well, it looked like Merritt had good coverage on him and kept his hands off him. Let's see if we can see the interference on Costello.
Well, certainly Merritt just went up for the ball to make the catch, and we'll see if we can see on the replay there.
I'm not so sure there was interference there.
I don't know who he's calling it against, because I don't think either one of them really interfered with the other.
I think Costello was going up for the ball. They were both going up for the ball.
And certainly if the receiver is playing the ball, you know, he can come back up over the defender's shoulder, and you know, that just looked like a good attempt by Costello to make the catch and a good play by Merritt to make the interception.
Ferris is coming off the field, and he looks to be all right. I don't know where the unnecessary roughness came.
It was in the St. FX backfield, Bill. There was a flag as that play was developing. Didn't get the number.
So the two penalties negate each other, and it's going to be 1st and 10 again on the 45-yard line. Once again, the quarter cannot end on a penalty. This will be the last play. Here's Cole to pass, and that is complete to Baldwin. And Baldwin is going to be short of the 1st down, brought down by Crooks, but Bottrell, I'm sorry, I don't know who, Cole is down, and who else is down for St. Mary's? They had a collision there.
Well, I don't know if we'll see it on the replay, but number 10, Chris Merritt.
Let's look at it.
Blitzed from
Merritt.
the outside. There you see him come
On
in.
the screen.
He makes about as hard a hit as you can make on a quarterback when he's extended. A real good shot. Unfortunately, that left a space open for the St. FX receiver, because you know that's the linebacker's coverage area. But
both these guys are hurt. That was a tremendous collision on the 55-yard line. Merritt and Cole. Cole is still down. Merritt is moving. That's the last play of the third quarter. But boy, I'll tell you, Merritt had a clear run at Cole, and he took full advantage of it. There's your score, 28-9 after 3. And both these guys are still down. You saw Merritt move right up on him with his head. The two heads seemed to collide. It seemed like Merritt got his helmet underneath Cole's chin. And they both got rocked.
well, it's
No,
not,
it's not Merritt, I'm sorry, it's not Merritt. There's Merritt going on.
That's
Noel.
JP Noel.
So who's the other person who's down?
That's Cole, I think, that's down for St. Francis Xavier.
Let's take a look at it again. See if we can see where Noel went down. Boy, this would be a loss if Cole can't continue, because they don't expect Martin back until next week. He had knee surgery a few weeks ago, arthroscopic, and he's been rehabbing. If he can't go, then Bullock, number 12, will have to go. Oh, he's up. He's going to have to come off for a play. But I'd like to know how Noel got hurt on that play, because it was Merritt and Cole that had the collision.
Well, Bill, we got Stompin' Tom singing the football game song, and I'm going to turn things back over to Stu Francis as we head into the fourth quarter with St. FX ahead 28-9.
Okay. Stu Francis, the former CFL great with the Toronto Argonauts, longtime college coach and coach of the Toronto Grizzlies in the old Continental Football League.
Thanks, Bill, and thanks, Keith.
Let's take a look at this. Watch this. What do you think of this collision here?
The safety blitz, Merritt finally makes a good hit. He ran this play earlier, and of course, Cole evaded him, but he certainly comes right through here. Cole showed persistence in staying in there and hanging in there and throwing the ball well. The thing is, though, up 28-9, you don't want to put your quarterback in that situation too often, Bill. You want him to live for another
Absolutely.
day.
He took a real hit under the chin, it looked like, from Merritt's helmet.
That's right.
So Volek is going to come in for a play while Cole sits it out. He may even come in for more than that. Cole is on the bench, and he's pointing to his chin.
I'm surprised X is still trying to throw the ball with the lead they've got. You think with their running attack, they're trying to run the ball out, get McCarty some running and Musselman some work.
Here's Musselman straight ahead for about 3.
It was second and first, and looks like they have the first down, Bill. Well, only, 2 points for the St. Mary's Huskies, or 1 point in that third quarter and 1 for X-Men, so they played pretty even in that third quarter.
Let's look at it. We'll watch Musselman here, and
Straight
they're
ahead
looking
dive.
at Carney. They're looking on the bench. You can't see it with the camera, but they do it. He is getting some attention to his facial area. It might be his chin, because as we said, he took a real knock. There's Musselman getting up slowly, and he's had ankle problems this year.
Yeah.
But it looked like Carney, or rather Cole, took that shot right under his chin.
Well, if you've ever been hit like that, Bill, you know it has a stunning effect to you. And your helmet is generally there to protect from any concussion, and your mask is there to protect from any teeth damage. So if the equipment worked well, hopefully it was just the impact that slowed him down a little bit, and that he'd be back in 100%.
First down, St. FX.
He was able to come off on his own, so it looked like he'll be okay.
Musselman is coming off, and he's limping. And so he's going to be replaced by Carvery, number 33, in the backfield. First and 10, just underway here in this fourth quarter. 14:38 to go. Bill Maiden with Stu Francis here in this fourth quarter. Here's a little play action by Volek. Volek brought down by number 52.
Looked like a little option run there,
Buchanan,
Bill.
Terry Buchanan.
Terry Buchanan in his 5th year as a St. Mary's Husky, leader of the defensive line.
Let's look at it.
Little option action here. Fake to Carvery, and Bullock decides to keep the ball and turn upfield. It's good coverage on the pitch man, and but he gets 5 yards anyway.
Buchanan is down on one knee. This has been a long afternoon for St. Mary's. They had that one flash there with 4:59 to go in the first half.
That was a flash, Bill. That was 4 plays and touchdown.
Yeah, that's right. And they've been sputtering and stalling offensively ever since and before.
Well, you have to look at those, the way things have gone, you have to look at those 2 third down gambles, I guess if you want to call them gambles. Everyone would say you should make them, but obviously the St. Mary's Huskies proved us wrong. They gave up the ball inside their 45 twice early in the game in the first half. Luckily, they only came out with 2 field goals against them, but it could have been worse.
Second down and 6. Ball on the 30-yard line. Bullock is in for Cole, who was just hurt a few plays ago. He probably will not be back. Now Bullock to pass. And that is complete to Carty, number 22, but that's going to be short of the first down.
Here we'll see a little swing pass. I never liked this pass. The Argos run this, and it's actually a lateral. If that ball is not caught, it's a live ball, which puts your defense in a really advantageous position to recover it and take it back for a touchdown. As you can see here, this ball goes behind the line, goes backwards, and it is a live ball if it's dropped.
Well, Bottrell was there on the tackle.
Excellent coverage there by the Husky defense.
So Mariani is going to try the field goal, and he's going to be trying it from the 41-yard line. And De La Valle is holding. Kick is up. And it is good, so it is 31-9 for St. FX with 13:30 to go in this fourth quarter.
That's a nice kick by Mariano. What was that, 42 yards?
41 yarder.
41 yarder.
Here, we'll get a look at it again.
Good hold, good snap. Got lots of energy under that ball.
This is
Right
St.
through the upright.
FX's first and only visit to Husky Stadium this year. Next week we'll have Mount Allison here for the home finale. 2 o'clock start. Then St. Mary's goes down to Acadia the week after to finish off the regular season. X showing blitz, 1st and 10. Jones complete to Kamika. Kamika brought down by number 34.
That score, the last field goal made the score 31-9 in favor of the X-Men. Just the start of the fourth quarter, in case you just joined us. St. Mary's has the ball.
That was Sloan with the tackle, number 34. It's going to be 2nd down and 5.
Well, Bill, interestingly, Axemen are leading the Mount A team at the half there, eh? That's very interesting.
21-14.
And if they win that game, they keep their hopes alive.
And conversely, if St. Mary's loses this game, that's it for their playoff hopes. And right now they trail 31-9. That's complete to Dugan, number 7. That's going to be enough for a 1st down.
See what happens when you stand back and you throw this ball and you throw it accurately and you throw it quickly. A little play action, boom, right in the hot seam, quick there, and it doesn't give the defenders time to react. And consequently, you can pick up a 1st down, which the Huskies did.
X had good coverage on that play
Yes,
on
they did.
Dugan. They're on the Husky 52, 1st and 10.
St. Mary's has 3 receivers to the left, trips formation left, Skeet in the backfield.
That's
And-
Hall. And Hall is going to be up to the 50-yard line, a gain probably of about 7. Hall made a nice catch. That ball was thrown well ahead of him, and he had to reach up to make the catch.
Yeah, he's the number 3 receiver. You'll see it on your screen here. The other 2 receivers clear, and he's the underneath guy running the out. Safety has to come over and cover him in zone coverage. And he makes a nice gain on that.
Actually, if that ball had been thrown a little more accurately to Hall, he would have probably had that 1st down. He had to wait a while and run out to that ball to
You
get
want
it.
to throw that ball so you get it on the hip, you get it quickly so you can get a chance to turn up and get yourself 1st down.
2nd and 3. Flags on the play. Offside. Offside against St. Mary's. It's going to bring it back 5, and that's the kind of thing that's been hurting St. Mary's all year long. Every time they seem to get something going, a mistake is made, and let's see who went offside there. That's 59. Number 59 for St. Mary's.
Well, it'd be nice if the Huskies could get some scoring drives here for their fans who've come out for homecoming today, Bill, to finish with a bit of a flurry.
Good crowd here this afternoon for homecoming.
Excellent crowd.
The 2nd down and 8, ball at the midfield line. Jones to Skeet. Skeet gets outside. Skeet has the 1st down, still on his feet, and gets down to the St. FX 40-yard line. And Stu, it looked like he was going to be caught a couple of times there. He made a nice move to make that play into a 1st down for St. Mary's.
Well, we've seen both running backs today make people miss. We've seen Carty make St. Mary's tacklers miss, and here we're going to see a nice run by Skeet. If you don't tackle properly and come with the correct form, this is what our good running back can do to you. And he puts some nice moves on here. Give the running back the ball in the open field and let him do what he can do. 1 nice move, 2 nice moves, gets the 1st down, and potentially has a chance to break this. Good work by Skeet.
Skeet, who is in for Luis Perez, who's got a bad ankle and an injured St. Francis Xavier player on the turf. And Skeet, who had lost his job to Perez. Perez came on a few weeks ago against Acadia, had a big game and played extremely well. Played well last week at Antigonish. And then his ankle was bothering him to the point where he couldn't play this week, and that left the door open for Skeet, and he's played pretty inspired ball. He sees this as an opportunity perhaps to get his job back, being a 4th-year player, and he's worked hard this afternoon, and as I said, he could have been dropped a couple of times when he got that ball, and he made a 1st down, and the Huskies are going to be 1st and 10 on the St. FX 41. That's Elliott coming on. Elliott is coming off the field under his own steam.
Well, in keeping with homecoming tradition, there's a soccer game right after this, and tonight the St. Mary's Huskies hockey team faces the Axemen at the old rink tonight, Bill.
That'll be a very good hockey game to watch, very intense. That old barn, it's been the scene of a lot of great hockey games over the years.
Of course, the Axemen are winless this year. They've got 2 ties, I think, and a loss to Dal. St. Mary's actually tied Acadia the first game of the season, so it should make for a good hockey game tonight for those that are interested. That's I think it's at 8 o'clock at St. Mary's Arena.
Let's watch Gillen here straight ahead, and he gets about 3 on the play, so it's going to be second down and 7.
Of course, Adam Gillen's the transfer from Acadia. He's from PEI and played for Acadia back in 1994. Then he came to St. Mary's after that, sat out a year, and has been playing for them the last 2 years.
And he's the fastest player on the St. Mary's team.
He is fast.
Now Jones looking to get outside and threw that ball down the field to no one in particular. I think he's going to get intentional grounding.
Yeah, it looks like it, Bill. The referees have been calling that a lot easier these days. They seem to give you the benefit of the doubt. In the old days, you could throw the ball anywhere, but it's a judgment thing, and I think you could tell that Ryan Jones was just throwing this ball away.
He was bailing out because there wasn't a receiver within 20 yards of that ball.
He does a nice job of evading the rush here.
But you know, he's been harassed all afternoon. St. FX has been very intense with their pass rush and their linebacker blitzes.
Yeah, St. FX is proud of their defense. As I mentioned earlier, their coach, Blake Nill, played in the CFL for 6 years, and he's been at X for 6 years. He's working on his Master's of Education there and works full-time for the university while he does that. And he's a very committed coach, and I think he's done a great job for the X defense.
Bartolacci is going to come on and punt. And he's going to be punting from his 45-yard line. Lorette is back at about the 10. And Lorette is going to field this ball on the 20. Lorette out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. So see if Bullock comes back on for St. FX. The backup to Cole, who went out earlier with an injury. Let's watch the replay here. This is Lorette. And Bullock is coming back on, so I don't think we'll see Cole anymore this afternoon. He's got his helmet on. He was being treated for looked like an injury to his chin, facial injury. Took a vicious hit from Merritt, and he's up and walking around, so I guess he's all right. But Bullock is going to come in here for St. FX with 9:44 to go in this.
Nice inside
Here's
trap.
Carty, and Carty up to the 50-yard line.
That's Carvery there. That's the
Was
fullback
that
trap.
Carvery?
Yes, it was, Bill.
I'm
And
sorry.
That's one of the best
Yeah, Carvery,
traps
6'3",
they've won all
260
day.
pounds. Yep.
Yeah. Little inside trap there. I think we'll see it coming up here in the replay.
He
This
hit
is the
that
play
hole
that-
very quickly, Keith, or Stu,
Yeah,
rather.
here's the guard trapping there.
Look at the acceleration.
And he picks up a first down. Some nice running by Carvery there.
You see Bottrell there at Labuki to bring him down. Took 2 guys to bring him down. 1st and 10 on the 50-yard line.
St.
St. FX 50.
They're more in a running mode now.
Here's Bullock now right off the snap.
Geez,
and Bullock to the 45-yard line, and that's going to be another X first down.
I'm not sure what the play that was. It looked like a bobbled snap to me, Bill.
I thought it was, but Bullock, if it was, had the presence of mind to pick that ball up and run with it. And he picked up about 12 or 13 yards.
Boy, it looks like
Let's see if we can see it.
looks like it's X. Yes.
It is. It's a bobbled snap.
Yeah, it looks like X's day today.
So they will be 1st and 10 on the St. Mary's 45 with 8:57 to go in this 4th quarter.
X is in eye back balanced formation, Bill. And they're running a draw.
Here's Carty. You see Carty fighting for yards. Morrison is there.
Good job. The Husky defense closes that right down. They were ready for that one. It holds Carty to about 1.5 yards.
They're going to mark it just inside the 45. They give him 2 yards on that play. Let's watch Carty and watch. No room for Carty here. Huskies did a good job of shutting that down. Like you said, Traveris is there and Morrison. It'll be second down and 8.
X comes out in spread formation. 3 receivers to the right. Carty, the lone back. Shotgun formation.
Here's Bowick now, and he is brought down by Jean-Michel Sylvier, the defensive lineman, number 61. He got in there, got penetration.
Yeah, that looks like a 4-man rush, Bill. And St. Mary's front line does a good job of coming upfield here, and they get the sack.
Here's Sylvier right up the middle. And Mariani is going to punt it from his 46.
You always like to see those linemen getting the sack. That means the front 4 is working good for you. You don't need to throw in the blitz.
Kamika and Bottrell back. And this is going to be Kamika, but it's angled out of bounds. And so St. Mary's will be 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line, their own 31, with 7:25 to go in this 4th quarter.
Yeah, Bill, earlier in the game, at the start of the game, we had the national anthem. I don't think we announced who sang that, and people were impressed by it. And that was Amanda Goss. She's from Stephenville, Newfoundland, and she's a first-year art student.
Is that right?
Yeah, she did an excellent job. We just like to
because we weren't on the air.
We just like to say thank you.
We heard it, but people at home didn't hear it.
Yeah. But Amanda, that was a great job with the national anthem. Thank you.
You can hear it on the repeat though on Monday night. Now Skeet and a flag, and Skeet picks up about 3, but we're going to have it's holding against the Huskies, so that's going to negate any gain that they made there on that play. Skeet was good for about 3 or 4 yards. Let's look at Skeet here. Does a good job of breaking a tackle by Keeney.
Of course, he's similar type play that he broke for the touchdown earlier.
That's going to bring the ball back to the 20-yard line, the 21. So it'll be 1st and 20 on the St. Mary's 21.
Huskies trail by 22 points with 7 minutes to go, and it's a lot of yardage they have to make up here.
Well, they've just been overmatched here this afternoon. This STFX defense has been tough, and you see they dropped Jones.
He didn't have a chance to get set up there, Bill.
That was great penetration by X.
That was number 60, I do believe, for the X-Men.
Richmond. Jones had no chance here. Let's take a look at it.
No chance.
See, there he is, 60. He just gets inside.
This is looks like just a little ET stunt, end first, and he goes to the inside shoulder of the tackle. Tackle's got to pick him up hard right now. We saw that run earlier where he got penetration and the quarterback broke contain and got outside because the tackle didn't get out there, but they certainly made good penetration on that last play.
So it's 2nd down and a mile. And Jones, no luck. Again, having a lot of trouble with pass protection here this afternoon. And that's going to bring back out Bartolacci. Let's look at it. See where the penetration's coming from, Stu.
See, they run a little tackle twist this time here.
Kushner, number 54, and Reed in on the tackle. Bartolacci's going to be punting from about his 2-yard line. Baldwin and Lorette are back. And this is Lorette on the 48 of St. Mary's, and he gets it to the 45. So St. FX again with good field position. They lead this game 31-9 with 5:41 to go in this 4th quarter.
Well, I was just watching Cole on the sidelines. He is indeed up, and he does look like he's okay, Bill. And he won't be coming back into the game, but it appears he'll be okay for the future.
So Bullock is back out for St. FX, 1st and 10 on the St. Mary's 45.
Yeah, Musselman is out of the game too, Bill, but I think they'll be okay. They're just resting them for next week. They don't want to push their injuries.
Carvery and Cardy in the backfield.
This is Carvery.
There's Cardy. Oh, he took a hit. And he is dropped for a gain of about 3. I don't know who came in and got him right up around the head.
That's the safety Merritt, and
was that Merritt on that
yeah.
hit? He just flew in there and almost knocked Cardy out.
Unfortunately, didn't make the tackle. He almost got a penalty for making contact with the head there.
Let's look at it. Let's see.
He should just be breaking down here and turning this
here
plane
he is.
inside.
I don't know if he got that.
No, he got the shoulder. Yep,
that was the shoulder.
Yes, he did. He slowed him down.
And Noel and Botro there to put the tackle on Cardy. That's a gain of 1.
Yeah.
2nd down and 9. Ball on the 45. Here's Carvery straight ahead, and Carvery with that 260 pounds moves that defensive line about 4 yards.
St. FX being very conservative here on 2nd and 10.
Tell you, that play, look at Carvery again here. Watch the power of this guy. You're 6'3", 260 pounds.
Just a little fold block between the guard and the center. They take it up through the middle linebacker and pick up about 4 or 5 yards.
It's going to make it 3rd down. Mariotti's going to come out and try the field goal from about the 47. And I'll tell you, Cardy got a good wake-up call there from Merritt, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Merritt has been hitting hard. He's had some bad luck here this afternoon on a couple of plays, but he knocked Cole out of the game earlier with a hit, and he woke Cardy up, and now here's Mariani, and flags everywhere, and it looks like it's going to be offside against St. Mary's.
That'll make it a 42-yard field goal if they move it up, and of course, Marini made his last one from the 41-yard line, so that's probably more in keeping with his ideal range. Well, Bill, it hasn't been St. Mary's day to day, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to come back, but going back over the AUA championships back from 1960, St. Mary's has won its share. In fact, they have 14 AUA championships. The next closest is Acadia with 8. And X has 7, hoping to close in on Acadia with 8 this year if they win it. And Mount A has won 3 AUA championships since 1960. St. Mary's has won 7 AUA championships in the last 10 years, Bill.
Well, that's going to be a 1st down for St. FX with 3:51 to go. So that penalty results in a 1st down, not another field goal try. And here's Volek again with 3:42 to go in this 3rd quarter. Botro comes up to show blitz. Here's Carvery with about 3 or 4 hard yards. You see Morrison, Merritt, and Botro in on the tackle. Actually, they don't give him any gain on that. I'm sorry. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, it's a great job by Kyle Morrison. He squares up here, makes a good form tackle, and brings Carvery down.
It looked like he got a few more yards than they gave him credit for, but it's 2nd down and 9. Morrison filled that gap very effectively. Here's the pitch to De Laval from Cardy, or rather number 18.
Here we're seeing the effect of a free safety
Legere.
blitz. Free safety blitz, which St. Mary's has run more of today. We see Botro come, albeit late. He snuffs out this reverse. Timely defensive call.
They were working on this, Stu, in the pregame. Here's Botro. He shoots the gap.
Yeah, he has lots of time to see what's going on and comes up with a real big play. Good tackle. You see Botro, how sure he is at tackling. That's why he's one of the best tackles in the St. Mary's defense.
He's had a good year. He's played very well for St. Mary's this year. Mariani is going to be back punting from his own 51. It's going to be 3rd and 21. Ball on the St. Mary's 45-yard line. Oh, Mariani fumbles and gets off a good kick. And that's Kamika inside his 10. And Kamika is snowed under. A flag on the play.
Well, how often do you see that pressure cause that shot of adrenaline and make that kicker kick that little bit extra? And that was a beautiful kick.
With very little time to set up.
Very little time to set up.
Let's look at it. Watch Mariani here as he fumbles the ball, but
it's a good snap.
St. Mary's didn't have a big rush on.
He showed he has a real strong leg there. He didn't have time to set up, and he just had to get his foot under it. Made a great kick.
St. Mary's was penalized for illegal use of hands, and that's going to bring the ball 1st and 10 on the 8-yard line. St. Mary's 8-yard line with 2:33 to go in this 4th quarter, and the Huskies trailing 31-9.
Well, if you're a defense, you look at making something big happen here. The offense is at a disadvantage playing within their end zone.
Here's Jones, and that is complete to Kamika. And Kamika up over the 25-yard line. Well, while we've got a minute, we want to acknowledge our crew here this afternoon. We've got Steve Dobson is here. Brett Smith is here. Dave Gaudette was here. Paul Gill was here. Everybody was here at one time or another. Ian Worrell. We had some technical problems. If you were looking for this game at 2 o'clock, we apologize for them. But we got them solved, and here's Jones now. And that is complete to number 18, Kelly Ralston. And Ralston actually had some room, but he started to run backwards.
Yeah, he had the first down, and then I've never seen a player actually turn and go straight back, but he almost did that. And then I think he had second thoughts and decided he better cut it short.
But he got the first down, and he moves the ball up over the 40-yard line to the 41. Next week, 2 o'clock start, I believe. It's a 2 o'clock start, not 1. St. Mary's at Mount Allison. You go to 1 o'clock when the clocks change at the end of the month. X showing blitz, play action. Jones got lots of company again, and he is snowed under, gets rid of the ball, but
they're going
a flag, and they're going to call that
intentionally grounding.
Yeah.
I think the whistle should have gone before that when he was in the grasp there. The referee should call that when he's been grabbed by the shirt like this. I think we'll see it coming up here. This player's got him under control right now. His whistle should go to avoid further penalty. No flag.
Okay.
So they did change their mind.
Well, he was in the grasp.
He certainly was.
1:37 to go in this 4th quarter. It's been a long afternoon for St. Mary's. I mean, they fought hard, but the injuries that they've had to their first-line players have taken their toll. You've seen Noel as a linebacker, number 32. He's normally the fullback. Here's Jones now looking to get outside. Jones still on his feet, and he is dropped with a gain of about 4 by Steiner, number 42. Actually, they give Jones 6 on that play, so it's going to be 2nd down and 4. Let's look at Jones here, and he's just had all kinds of harassment in this St. Mary's backfield all the time he's been here. I mean, the pass protection has been really tough for him this afternoon, and here he tucks the ball under. Charlie Toth is down for St. Mary's.
6 o'clock. Huskies tonight at 6 o'clock. When they host the Acadian X-Men.
So depending on how it's going in Wolfville this afternoon, if Acadia is able to hang on and win their football game, they keep their playoff hopes alive. Charlie Toth is coming off. He looks like he's going to be okay. And this game will effectively eliminate St. Mary's from playoff contention. They will go to 1-5. Mount Allison here next week for their last home game. So it will be 2nd down and 4 with 1:24 to go in this 4th quarter.
Well, X has to feel pretty comfortable with their victory today.
Yeah, they played pretty well.
They
That's
played
Kamika.
solid. They played a solid game. They haven't made any real stupid mistakes. Their offenses look good under pressure at times. St. Mary's came early with a lot of blitzes and pressure, and they were able to withstand that blitz package and make some completions.
Let's
and
look at it.
Generally played steady.
This is enough to move the sticks for St. Mary's. Kamika here.
So with 2 games to go, Bill, it looks like X will go to 5-1. St. Mary's will drop to 1-5. As you say, this will eliminate them from the playoffs, unfortunately.
Jones in the shotgun. And again, a pass rush. Looking deep for Kamika. He's got it. Out of bounds inside the 25. Nice play by Jones. He was under pressure as he has been all afternoon, and yet he found Kamika.
Yeah, it was a nice throw.
Royale with the tackle.
As you say, it was a nice throw, Bill, under a lot of pressure, too, on the run there, and did a great job, put the ball on the money.
Let's look at it. See the X-players in on Jones. He almost loses his balance there, but watch him put the ball up, and Kamika, with a nice catch, working on Royale. 1st and 10, St. Mary's. Jones. Oh, intercepted.
Yeah, I think he just got a little pressure there and decided to better throw the ball away, and unfortunately threw it up for grabs.
O'Reilly with the interception.
Intercepted by O'Reilly.
So with 26 seconds to go, that's pretty well going to be it for the St. Mary's offense this afternoon. It's been a long afternoon for the St. Mary's football team. They have fought hard here, but this St. Francis Xavier football team, Andre Arlane is out, has been out of this game. Derek Martin is coming back, their 1st string quarterback. X looks pretty good coming down the stretch. If they get those injured players back and Mount Allison gets LaPointe back, and Acadia, if they manage to upset Mount Allison down in Wolfville, we've still got a 3-team fight for 2 playoff spots, but it looks good for St. FX. They seem to be really, rolling along at this stage of the season, which is what you want.
Yes, they do, and they're hoping to return to the Vanier, although not too many teams managed to get there 2 years in a row historically, but that's their goal. And of course, Mount A's season is based on beating them and getting a chance to go to the Atlantic Bowl. Bill, it's been a pleasure as usual working with you. I'm going to turn the mic over to Keith again. He's going to do the post-game wrap-up with you. Keith, the Director of Student Services here at St. Mary's. Thanks, Bill. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Stu. And Keith, it's been a long afternoon for St. Mary's. They've had a lot of trouble containing that St. Francis Xavier pass rush this afternoon. Jones has been under pressure just about every time he's had that ball.
Well, you've got to give credit to the St. FX defensive line and linebacking crew. They did an outstanding job, and they were in the St. Mary's quarterback's faces all afternoon. It just made it very difficult for them to get a sustained passing game going and give full marks to that St. FX defense.
Next week, Mount Allison is here, and Mount Allison should have LaPointe back in full speed, or they hope close to full speed. They want him in top shape for those playoffs on November the 9th. And LaPointe, of course, was hurt here in the exhibition game, and he's had a tough season having to undergo arthroscopic knee surgery, but he's certainly key to their success.
Well, you mentioned earlier Gord Francis has stepped up and done an outstanding job for Mount Allison this year, but certainly LaPointe is the guy they need in the lineup when they get into playoff action, and if they have any hopes of making it to the Atlantic Bowl and then on to the Vanier Cup. He's one of those game breakers. He's a fellow that's healthy. He's going to get you a couple of 100 yards rushing, which is outstanding, and a couple of touchdowns. So it'll be interesting to see Mount A back here at St. Mary's next week, and hopefully St. Mary's can regroup and you know, put a game plan together to make a good showing.
Well, there's your final score. STFX 31, St. Mary's 9. Our next broadcast is next week when Mount Allison comes in here. It's a 2 o'clock start. For Keith Hotchkiss and Stu Francis and our crew at Halifax Cable, thanks for watching from Husky Stadium. So long. We'll see you next week.
Over on the wing to Bienvenu, who quickly skates off to the boards, and on come a fresh 10 legs for Val-d'Or. Two of them firing that puck wild. That was number 28, Fouteau. Now in front of the Moosehead net and flipped down, although the whistle had been called, and we'll have a face-off in front of Giguère at the 13-minute mark. 13 minutes to play, I should say. It's the 7-minute mark of the second period, and the Mooseheads have still not arrived really this afternoon. 2-0 Val-d'Or, and we're not seeing the real strong effort from Halifax in this particular hockey game.
We'll see number 27 fall to the ice as he hits the big 200-pounder. France Jean-Simon Lemain. Dusselblanc, of course, carrying in as well, but you can sense the Mooseheads really playing with some desperation right now, flailing at the puck whenever it comes to them, not setting up, not taking their time, and you really can see that in their style of play right now, Brad.
Carson along the wing to Shelley. Shelley dumps it to center. Unable to get there, Dusselblanc. And here comes Valdor. Stopped at the blue line by Patrick Lafleur, and the Mooseheads will have yet another opportunity. Shelley fires one off the boards hastily. He was being attacked from the side. Lambert. Short pass to Hubert, and there goes Yannick Evola, one of the better players in the league. This time stopped by Halifax. 12:22 left to play in the second period. Dusselblanc sends it into the corner. Shelley can't get there in time, but Dusselblanc uses both skates to stop the puck at the blue line. Now Lambert turns and elects to skate it to center. He'll dump it in. Valdor send 5 over, and we'll have 5 more green jerseys hopping over the boards. Halifax. That's Chouinard to Mathieu on the feed. Now Mathieu trying to find a hole in the Valdor defense. He can't find one in this attempt. Brown at center. Passes across to Tremblay. Luongo out of the net. He'll stop the puck. And in comes Sasseville. Centering pass, Mathieu. And it was a weak backhand there off the Sasseville feed. Francois Sasseville trying to get yet another point. And I missed a game, but is he still the league leader for the Halifax Moosehead franchise, Dave Sullivan?
Is indeed 10 and 10, giving him 20.
20 points, the largest number of stats on the Halifax team, or the highest point total. And Valdor have a few players who have passed that mark. In fact, they have a 30-point man in none other than Yannick Evola.
With his 4 points last night, he vaulted from 23rd place in the league's top 25 scorers to 17th, a tie for 16th, rather. So he's doing well.
Shot in front, backhand misses. There's the puck coming out, and now the Mooseheads have a little bit of a 2-on-2, but they're a little slow. Chouinard wanted to go off, and the 2-on-2 became an 0-on-3. He just dumped it in, and Valdor quickly regained possession. Boulanger trying to get something going, but a speedy number 10, Day Martinez. Intercept, and now the puck in behind the Moosehead net. There's Troini battling, and we'll have the face-off. 10:25 to play. You're watching Moosehead Hockey on Ice on 920. Oh, that's next week on the Halifax Metro Center's in-house video network. Private viewing in the luxury boxes and at the sports bar. One of the great features here in the Metro Center, a beautiful sports bar, modernized with all of the cameras, allowing you to see this replay right now.
What you're going to see here is Marc Chouinard almost deke himself out as he just dumps the puck complacently.
Looked like the Mooseheads had a 2-on-2, but apparently Chouinard was tired and he wanted to skate off, so he just dumped the puck in. And what would have been one of the few opportunities we've seen here in the second period. The Mooseheads heavily outshot, 19-13. I think the Mooseheads had 12 after the first period. So a very weak, we'll get Paul Gill if he can feed that number of shots the Mooseheads had in the first period up here to verify that. But the Mooseheads really haven't given Roberto, it was 12, so the Mooseheads have had only 1 shot on Roberto Luongo, who is looking a little daisy down there in the Valdor net. He hasn't seen a lot of work in the second period, Dave Sullivan.
Absolutely, he's lonely right now, is Luongo, as he looks down the length of the ice, and I'm sure, though, he doesn't mind it that way, though.
Although you can get rusty in a hurry here in the Metro Center, and the Mooseheads would like to knock a puck in behind some of that rust. Right now, they bring the puck back into Valdor, the end zone. There's Manley. Bill Manley to Mathieu at the side, backhand in front, and it was the Valdor player with a steal, Hubert, number 19, saving the day for Valdor. Luongo could have been beaten there. Good passing attempt by Halifax to get on the board. They're looking for the starter and the equalizer. Yes, we've said the equalizer, and here comes Dumont. And his pass intercepted by Halifax, and a couple of spins, and here come the Mooseheads. That was Troini trying a burst of speed. And a nice center open ice hit on Dumont. Watch Dumont to retaliate. He has a thin temper. Here's the Mooseheads. Matsu at the side, trying to dig it out in front. No, that's Shelley down there.
Jody Shelley turning into a one-man wrecking crew for the Moose
Well,
right
that was
now.
the best shift I've seen this period, and the best in the first was when the young kid line took to the ice for their lone shift in period number 1. There's Troini back on the ice now, and geez, you know, you talk about the kid line, they seem to be on the ice whenever things get on a fire here in Halifax. Troini getting ready to go. He was throwing the shoulder at Dumont, and it looks like Dumont may go to the box right now with Troini.
Yep, Repa not standing for any type of activity after the whistle. Jody Shelley, though, you're right, that was probably his best shift of the game so far, and the Mooseheads really need to light a fire underneath themselves, and that's exactly the type of play that will do it. We need to see more hard hitting by Jody Shelley. He's got to step up, take the lead, throw his weight around, and really try and get his team back into this game, because they're not playing with any intensity right now, Brad.
Well, that one line, Troini, LaPlante, of course, they're now skating off. Troini will go to the penalty box, but Tanguay and LaPlante sitting down. And they really have been the premier line of late for the Halifax Mooseheads. And if I'm a veteran, I would want to move in and regain my leadership role. And we'll see if the leader's on the ice right now, Chouinard. And I think that's Carson on the board with his back turned against the play. Yes, indeedy. So let's see if these two veterans can regain the leadership role here of the Halifax Mooseheads. Chouinard with Sasseville, actually, not Carson. I saw the 0, didn't see the 4, and 9:07 to go here, period number 2. The Mooseheads trailed by 2. They'll try and get the equalizer in a few moments, but they have to get the first goal before they get the equalizer. Begas through the legs and out. Sasseville knocking it back for Chouinard, who sends it in. Luongo out of the net. He'll leave the puck in behind for 79. Hardy. There's a centering pass, and Sasseville couldn't get the reach. Avola knocked him away. Yannick Avola doing the work again tonight defensively. Valdor managed to get it into the Moosehead zone, but not for long. The Mooseheads send it down. Hardy has it. And quickly the play goes back into the Moosehead end zone. Racing for the puck, Lee Cousineau. Lafleur now has an opportunity to break free. He'll skate up to the middle and get Alexander to Matsu. Matsu dumps it in. Dave Carson right on top of the puck, takes the man. There's Carson with the puck at the side. And too quickly, Valdor comes back and they send 3 men on Carson. There's a long shot wide. Shelley picking up the rebound off the boards. He sends it behind for Bill Manley. Manley tied up. Puck comes free. Shelley the reach. And that one turned away by Luongo. Shelley back to the point. There's a shot. Save, glove hand Luongo. Now Gilby. Stick handles by his man. Back to the point, the shot, and it was deflected high. And the Mooseheads have done more in this shift than we've seen in the entire game, and their fans applaud.
Well, the Moose are coming alive now, Brad, and that's good news for the fans and good news for the team. The coach, Richard Martel of the Foreur, obviously coaching his team well. You get the sense that whenever these guys, the Foreurs, are out on the ice, as we take a look at the replay here, a couple of good shots on net by the Moose. As you mentioned, Brad, their best scoring opportunities have come on this shift that you're seeing right now. Gilby gets it out to Shelley on this pass, or not Shelley, sorry, the other Moose defenseman, I believe that's Tremblay. Tremblay getting another shot on net.
Couple of scoring chances there for Halifax. We'll see if they can continue this forward momentum. They dump it in. Getting there first, Lecoteau. He has the puck, he goes to the board. Now Luongo has to come out and make a play. And there, the Mooseheads right on top. Tanguay and Gilby in the side. Chance for LaPlante, the shot! And it goes off Lambert's leg. And Valdor picking up the bouncing pack, race in. There's Dumont. And he's spun around by Gilby, and the Mooseheads have a chance to break free. Missed opportunity there. And finally, they get it ahead. There's Dussablon. He fails to make anything go. Hubert turns the play around. Now Dumont takes it in. Slides it towards Giguère, and he kicks that one away. So the Mooseheads mounted a bit of an attack, but Valdor, they woke up. heard the fire alarm, so to speak, and now they're back putting pressure on. Avola along the right side, gets it into the Moosehead zone to Steve Begant. He goes to the far side. There's Avola skating now on the left side, from the right to the left. He was skating off. Puck comes out to center. Mooseheads would have been caught offside, but they failed to get it over. Now Mathieu, he's tied up at the blue line as well. And the Mooseheads can get close, but that's about as far. Coming up against a Valdorian wall at the blue line. They finally bat the puck in, but Valdor, once again, they fire it right down. Giguère will have to stop this one. Giguère passing the puck to Belanger. Off the boards and out, but again, fired right back in, this time by Jelen. And the Mooseheads will have to restructure their attack. Perhaps pulling the blueprints out of the closet and seeing what they're doing wrong, because their system is falling apart. The moss must have gotten to the paper because the blueprint is not working. The Mooseheads managed to turn on a short moment of excitement, and now the excitement is picked up by the fans, and this is where the cameras are really finding the action this afternoon.
Not a lot of action going on the ice right now as far as the Mooseheads are concerned. You mentioned that they did mount a great offensive effort in the previous shift, but then they come out flat again. You see them flailing for the puck, reaching for the puck, not really pressing with their bodies, not finishing their checks. They're really right now the Mooseheads being outplayed.
There's Lizard Boy with a fine collection
of
on
reptiles.
His reptiles on his sweatshirt, and enjoying some dancing here this afternoon. The matinee game, Halifax Metro Center. Moosehead hockey on ice, and with the puck, Clark Udall. He gets it ahead to LeMay, and there's Carson. Carson racing into the net. Lafleur in front! And Luongo hangs on. The boys in green from Dallas, Texas, now playing out of Val d'Or, the Val d'Or Stars. Oops, it's